1,978 with 480 deaths and 1,991 recoveries. "21 naval personnel test positive for COVID-19 at the Naval Shore Establishment in Mumbai. Most of these are asymptomatic and they have been traced to a single sailor who was tested positive on the 7th of April this year. As a relief to MSMEs, income tax refunds worth 5,204 crore rupees in the last 10 days to nearly 8.2 lakh small businesses in view of COVID-19 situation. These refunds would help MSMEs to carry on their business activities without pay cuts or layoffs in COVID-19 pandemic situation. Group of ministers meet on COVID-19 situation. They discuss ways to mitigate the hardships faced by the people and the role that the ministries can play in providing relief to the people. COVID-19 cases continue to spiral upwards globally with more than 22 lakh cases. More than 1.5 lakhs have succumbed to the disease. The US coronavirus death toll passes 37,000. The total number of cases in the US crosses 7 lakhs. Namaskar and welcome. You're with the Midday News here on DD News and DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's our top story. Well, according to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the latest data shows the total confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country stands at 14,378, whereas active COVID-19 cases in India stand at 11,906. 480 people have succumbed to the illness so far, while 1,991 have recovered. And a total of 21 serving personnel have been tested positive for COVID-19 within the naval premises at Mumbai. This number includes 20 sailors of INS Angre, a shore establishment at Mumbai. Most of these are asymptomatic and they have been traced to a single sailor who had tested positive on the 7th of April. So they all reside in the same accommodation block at INS Angre, and all primary contacts through asymptomatic were tested for COVID-19. The entire in-living block was immediately put under quarantine, containment zone, and INS Angre 2 is under lockdown. All actions as per established COVID-19 protocol are being undertaken. There are no cases of infection on board ships and submarines. The Indian Navy continues to actively support the national effort in the fight against COVID-19. The Income Tax Department has said that in view of COVID-19 situation, to bring relief to MSMEs, income tax refunds worth 5,204 crore rupees have been issued in the last 10 days to nearly 8.2 lakh small businesses. These are proprietors, firms, corporate and trusts. This has happened since the 8th of April 2020. These refunds would help MSMEs to carry on their business activities without pay cuts, layoffs in the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Pursuant to the government's decision of 8/4/2020, the IT department has issued nearly 14 lakh refunds, which is up to 5 lakh each till date. And this is to help the taxpayers as India fights coronavirus. So keeping in focus, its focus on providing relief to the small businesses in the MSME sector, the CBDT will further issue refunds of 7,760 crore rupees at the earliest possible. The taxpayers are requested to provide online responses through their e-filing account on Income Tax India, efiling.gov.in, whenever required. Now, meeting of the group of ministers over COVID-19 was held at the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's residence today. The Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Prakash Javadekar, Railways Minister Piyush Goyal, Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development Smriti Irani and Food and Public Distribution Ramvilas Paswan were present at the meeting. The Defence Minister later tweeted, interacted with the GOM on the COVID-19 situation. We discussed ways to mitigate the hardships faced by people and the role that ministries can play in providing relief to the people. The guidelines to allow limited activities and measures announced by the RBI were also appreciated. With relentless dedication, hard work and meticulous planning, the Indian Railways keeps the nation running smoothly during the lockdown period. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has on Twitter shared a video on Indian Railways by the Minister Piyush Goyal. The PM said, and I quote, "Proud of the Indian Railways team. They've been continuously helping our citizens in this crucial hour." Let's take a look at this video.
To fight COVID-19, and now Railway has upscaled manufacturing of PPEs. Railways will produce 30,000 PPE coveralls in April and 1 lakh coveralls in May, with uninterrupted services. Railways ensures essential perishable goods reach all. Since March 23rd, the Indian Railways has transported approximately 6.75 lakh wagons of commodities across the nation till the 11th of April. Indian Railways energizes India. From 1st April to 11th April, Railways has transported more than 1.9 lakh wagons of coal and over 13,000 wagons of petroleum products. Railways has upscaled transportation by using Ro-Ro facilities to carry loaded trucks. Indian Railways running at full swing in the fight against COVID-19. 40,000 beds prepared as isolation beds. 2,500 coaches converted to isolation coaches. Target of 5,000. 375 coaches being converted daily at 133 locations pan-India. Till the 11th of April, Railways has distributed more than 10 lakh free hot-cooked meals to needy persons across the country. Railways has identified 134 trains over 67 routes as parcel special trains since the start of the lockdown to fulfill the demand of the nation. Indian Railways RCF in Kapurthala has produced a Jeevan ventilator that is much cheaper than regular ventilators. Railways Corona Yodhas are making masks, sanitizers and personal protective equipments for the safety of the medical fraternity and our fellow citizens.
And in response to an appeal by the Prime Minister, central government servants have voluntarily decided to donate one day's salary to the Prime Minister Cares Fund. Well, the appeals were made by all staff associations to this effect, and the amount contributed by government departments through salary and CSR is in excess of 3,900 crore rupees. In addition, individual officers have made additional contributions. Essential supply chain of fruits and vegetables is being continuously carried out. Our correspondent Meghna Dev brings us this report from Azadpur Vegetable Mandi, where social distancing and sanitization are being followed day in and day out.
I am here at the Azadpur Sabzi Mandi in New Delhi, and this place is one of the biggest mandis, the vegetable and fruit mandi in India. And here people are actually practicing social distancing, and the essential supplies are being carried out. The chain of essential supply is continuing, and I would like to show you how is this entire place working amidst the lockdown, and how is the entire social distancing protocol is being followed at this place. So first I will show you that is the entry of the mandi, wherein there is a sanitization tunnel that has been put up, and that people have to go through that sanitization tunnel, stand there for a few seconds to get themselves sanitized. So, and after that there is also a thermal screening which is being done. The people who are actually entering the place are also being given some tokens. Now these tokens are actually a proof of how many people have actually gone inside the mandi. It also is a dated token so that the tokens cannot be used again and again. So every day has a specific token to be given. Regulated entrance that has been actually put up here. This place generally is very jam-packed with people, but this time around there is obviously a regulation that has been done.
सबको सब्जी मिल रही है टाइम से और सस्ती भी है, कोई महंगाई नहीं है सब्जी में, साफ सफाई का ध्यान रख रहे हैं, आराम से माल बिक रहा है।
हिमाचल से आ रही है मटर, ये टमाटर जो है अहमदाबाद गुजरात से आ रहा है, इतनी दूर से आने के बाद भी 20-25 रुपए किलो बढ़िया से बढ़िया क्वालिटी बिक रही है।
अपना टाइमिंग के अकॉर्डिंग जो है माल सारा अपना बेच बूझ के खत्म कर देते हैं। हम भी कोऑपरेट पूरा करते हैं उनके साथ में, हमारे को भी मालूम है इस बात को, हम भी समझते हैं इस बात की हमारे को भी है कि हाँ भी मतलब जो है ये कर रहे हैं हमारे फायदे के लिए है।
So this is how the essential supply chain is actually preventing and actually practicing social distancing and taking all precautionary measures to keep the supply chain going and bring to us all the essential commodities that are required, the essential supplies that are required day to day in our lives amidst this lockdown. With camera person Yogesh, this is Meghna Dev, DD News, New Delhi.
And now let's take a look at the guidelines issued by the government during the period of the lockdown in the country. So these are the guidelines for cargo services, essential services, as we can see. Lockdown 2.0, movement of persons allowed after April 20. Public utilities allowed after April 20. These are all available on the website MyGov. Moving on then. The Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has informed that the Red Cross Society has started a 24/7 control room for blood services in Delhi. Anyone who needs blood or wishes to donate may call this helpline numbers, and the helpline numbers are on your screens. 233-59379, 93199, 82104, 93199822105. Moving on to our next story then. In the wake of the continuing COVID-19 outbreak in the country, the Ministry of Home Affairs has decided to extend the suspension of all existing visas granted to foreigners except to those belonging to diplomatic, official, UN international organizations, employment and project categories. Till the 3rd of May 2020, the MHA has further directed that all incoming passenger traffic into India through any of the 107 immigration checkposts shall remain suspended till the 3rd of May 2020. However, no such restriction would apply to vehicles, planes, ships, conveyance, trains, etc. carrying goods and supplies, whether essential or non-essential. Regular visa, e-visa or stay stipulation of such foreign nationals who have been stranded in India would be extended till midnight of 3/5/2020 on gratis basis after making online application by the foreigner. In India's fight against COVID-19, the Union Ministry of Labour and Employment has launched Workers' Helpline at 20 control centres in the country where the employees can lodge their grievances. So this helpline will address wage-related issues faced by workers and problems of migrant workers in coordination with state governments.
हमारे मंत्रालय ने इसके लिए एक हेल्पलाइन शुरू की है और देश के 20 हिस्से करके 20 स्थानों पर एक हमने श्रम विभाग के लोगों को इसका इंचार्ज बनाया है और मजदूर की समस्या 24 घंटे और पूरे 7 दिन हम लोग देखेंगे और जो संभव इसमें सहयोग है वो किया जाएगा। जैसा अभी कहा गया है कि सभी से आग्रह किया गया है कि वो किसी मजदूर को नौकरी से ना निकालें, काम करे या ना करे उन्हें उसका वेतन मिले, इसकी चिंता की जाए।
In West Bengal, a group of women from Subharna Bihar village in Krishnanagar Tehsil of Nadia district, they are currently engaged in making protective gear for doctors and health workers. The 5 groups under the Agricultural Development Cooperative Samiti are engaged in making personal protective equipments or PPE. The items include shoes, shoe covers, gowns, surgical masks and all these kind of things. So these efforts are in fact by the members of self-help groups, and they also are helping these women in making their livelihoods. In Mizoram, as a sign of gratitude to the centre, Zodiliana Rokhum from Kolasib thanked the government of India for helping his family to buy essential commodities. Rokhum was granted money under Manrega, and this helped him buy essential items. The country, as we know, is in a nationwide lockdown. This comes as another step in a series of relief measures by the centre.
लॉकडाउन के कारण हमारा परिवार बहुत तकलीफ में होना था, लेकिन हमारा सेंट्रल सरकार की ओर से जो कि NREGS के द्वारा मेरा अकाउंट में उन्होंने पैसा डाला है, इसलिए मैं सेंट्रल के तरफ से मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा। उनके जरिए से ही, उनके कारण से ही हमारा परिवार अच्छा से खाना पीना गुजारा कर रहा हूँ।
Unmanned aerial vehicles, commonly known as drones, are becoming vital tools in the fight against COVID-19 across states, and law enforcement agencies are using them to monitor public gatherings, to ensure social distancing and spraying of disinfectants
quarantine zone
over
in
villages.
Dwarka, where around the clock vigil has been maintained by the civil defense personnel as well as the Delhi police, and these are the CCTV camera footage that you can see. This is how they are managing, they are watching over the quarantine zone which is inside, and these are the CCTV footage which is been used as a helpful method by which they can monitor how people are staying inside if nobody is coming out. And I have got with me some of the people also who are making the round the clock stay here. Let's just talk to some of the people here.
128 यहाँ पे हैं जो आइसोलेट किए हुए हम लोगों ने क्वारंटाइन की हैं, और साउथ वेस्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 2 हैं, एक ये है और एक PTS सेक्टर 9 में है.
Well, in order to make sure that to keep a close eye on the people who are working in the danger zone, in the quarantine zone, and also to enforce the social distancing norms, this kind of drone technology has been used extensively. Behind me, you can see this is one of the quarantine zone where more than 100 people are currently quarantined. To maintain what is going on inside, they are using CCTV footage as well as the drone technology. This is the drone that we were talking about. This drone has been used, and the footage has been relayed to the Delhi police as well as civil defense personnel. They are being used by them, and this is something that as a novel way. This is a usage of technology by which one would say that quite easily one can manage the law and order as well as the social distancing norm that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been talking quite so much. With cameraman Kumar Datta, this is Taposh Bhattacharya, DD India, Delhi.
In Nepal, the number of coronavirus cases has jumped to 30 after 14 more people tested positive yesterday. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, 12 persons from Udaipur district and 2 from Chitwan district tested positive for the deadly virus. The number of coronavirus infections in the Himalayan nation has climbed now to 30 from 16 in a single day. The Ministry of Health and Population spokesperson said that 4,822 tests have been conducted in the last 24 hours, and a total of 24,253 tests have been done so far. He said that 90 people have been kept under isolation, while 4,607 people have been quarantined. Bangladesh will operate 8 special flights to bring back Bangladeshi citizens stranded in India. The private US Bangla Airlines on Friday announced that it will operate these flights on Chennai-Dhaka and Kolkata-Dhaka routes between April 2025 to bring back over 1,000 Bangladeshi citizens from India. 6 of these special chartered flights will operate from Chennai to Dhaka and 2 from Kolkata to Dhaka. The airlines will operate daily flights from Chennai starting from the 20th to the 25th, and the airlines has also announced that the flight will take off from Chennai at 12:15 p.m. The flights from Kolkata will take off at 11:30 a.m. on April 21 and 23. Earlier, the Foreign Ministry of Bangladesh had said that nearly 2,500 Bangladeshi citizens, including 1,000 students, were currently stranded in India because of the corona outbreak. The coronavirus outbreak has infected over 22 lakh people worldwide, while over 1,53,000 deaths have been reported till now. And the United States has the highest number of cases and deaths also worldwide, over 7 lakh confirmed infections, over 37,000 deaths. Following the announcement of reopening guidelines, the governors of Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana and Kentucky have formed a partnership to work together on restarting the economies in their states. The states collectively account for about 16% of the total U.S. economic output. However, in another major announcement, the U.S. President Donald Trump announced a $19 billion US billion relief program to help farmers cope with the impact of the coronavirus pandemic through a package that will include direct payment and mass purchases of produce, meat and other products. The Indian authorities' decision to provide Russia with medicines to combat the coronavirus is in line with the spirit of partnership between the two countries, the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has said on Friday. In a tweet, Moscow is pleased.
The fastest growing coronavirus in the world, with more than 4,000 new cases every day, and how the tone of the authorities has changed in the last few weeks from just over a month ago, with President Putin saying that the situation is under control.
In fact, Moscow is pleased with the Indian government's decision to send a shipment of medicines to combat the coronavirus to Russia and is grateful for it. Peskov added that they considered Indian colleagues' decision to be an effective step to implement the agreements on cooperation in the fight against the new infection that the Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached in a telephone call on March 25. In Moscow, hospitals are preparing for their toughest 2 weeks as the country's coronavirus cases soar. The government has rushed to build a new hospital and repurpose existing ones. This is for the Ministry of Health has warned that the beds were running out. Our FSN correspondent Dan Ashby gives us more insights.
Russia is now the fastest growing coronavirus outbreak in the world, with more than 4,000 new cases every day, and how the tone of the authorities has changed in the last few weeks from just over a month ago, with President Putin saying that the situation is under control, to the last few days when the Kremlin has said that hospitals are going to be pushed to their limits. The Ministry of Health says the hospitals do have enough equipment, they do have enough staff, but not enough beds, and so they are desperately trying to open or transfer other hospitals into coronavirus centres. We've also spoken to the Doctors Alliance, a union here that's very critical of the government. They say there simply isn't enough oxygen, there's not enough staff. They know of doctors and nurses who are already dying, people in beds, in queues, in corridors who are also not getting the treatment they need. So a mixed picture, but I think what is not under any debate is that Russia is fast becoming one of the most urgent stories when it comes to COVID-19.
The Italian health officials have declared a long-sought victory over the coronavirus in poorer southern regions. The Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte had warned 6 weeks ago that Italy's ability to conquer COVID-19 depended on whether cases can stay largely contained in its northern epicenter around Milan. And in the meantime, deaths from the coronavirus epidemic in Italy rose to 575. while the number of new cases declined slightly, and scientists warned that infections were now mainly happening among family members. The official death toll since the outbreak came to light on February 21 has risen to 22,745. The Civil Protection Agency has said the second highest in the world after that of the United States. However, the Italian authorities acknowledge that the true number of fatalities is much higher. The Islamic Affairs and Charitable Activities Department of the Dubai government on Friday announced that Muslims can offer Taraweeh prayers at home during the holy month of Ramadan. Like the 5 daily obligatory prayers, the department in a statement said that prayers should be done at home as mosques are closed as part of the country's efforts to fight COVID-19 pandemic. France registered 761 more deaths from coronavirus infections, bringing the total to 18,703, the fourth highest tally in the world, but the number of people in hospital has declined for a third day running. And in another sign that the lockdown put in place a month ago is working, the French public health authorities have said that the total of people in intensive care units has fallen for the 9th day in a row to 6,027, which is a low point since April 1. At 18,681, the number of fatalities is up 4.2% over 24 hours, with the rate of increase decelerating for the second day running. And the United Kingdom has launched a new coronavirus task force to support efforts to make a vaccine available to the public as quickly as possible. However, the government did not give more details on an expected timetable for this development. The government of UK has said that 21 new research projects would be getting funding from a £14 million investment pool to rapidly progress treatments and vaccines. The officials also said that it would identify ways to fast-track clinical trials and also to continue to support international efforts to find a vaccine. The UK has registered 14,576 deaths still now and has more than 1 lakh of active cases. That concludes this bulletin. Thank you for being with us. Namaskar.